At 49, the tragedy of Kate Winslet is beyond heartbreaking. The world knows her as the radiant star of Titanic, the woman who captured hearts with a single line, "I'll never let go." But behind the dazzling smile, behind the red carpets and Oscar wins, lies a story of battles, scars, and quiet suffering that very few ever see. When we look at Kate Winslet, we see success. She's adored by millions, celebrated as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. But what most don't realize is that her journey has been paved with rejection, betrayal, and deep emotional wounds. From childhood bullying to devastating personal struggles, her life has carried a weight no one would expect of such a luminous star. Kate Winslet was never the perfect Hollywood image. As a teenager, she was ridiculed for her weight and even called blubber by classmates. Teachers told her she'd never succeed because she didn't fit the industry's narrow beauty standards. Can you imagine? The woman who would later become Rose Dawson in one of the biggest films of all time was once told she wasn't beautiful enough to make it. And yet she kept going. She fought, tooth and nail, to prove them wrong. But success, as it turned out, carried its own tragedies. Her rise to fame came with Titanic, a film that changed cinema forever. Overnight, Kate became a global icon. But with fame came relentless scrutiny. She was criticized, body-shamed, and even stalked by the press. In her own words, she was never allowed to breathe. What should have been the happiest time of her life turned into a nightmare of constant pressure and self-doubt. And then came the heartbreaks behind closed doors. Failed marriages left her devastated. She endured public divorces, struggled to protect her children from media intrusion, and faced the pain of trying to keep her family together while the world watched. To this day, Kate has admitted how much guilt and sadness she carries from those chapters of her life. What's even more tragic is how much she has silently battled, her mental health, her sense of self-worth, and the toll that fame has taken on her body and mind. She once confessed that she felt like she was constantly failing, even at the height of her career. Imagine reaching the very top of the world, only to feel like you were still never enough. At 49, Kate Winslet should be celebrated for the legend she is. And yet, her story is one of tragedy, not because she lost her talent, but because the world has never let her truly live in peace. She has carried the weight of expectations, heartbreak, and scars that fame can't ever heal. Her tragedy reminds us that even the brightest stars burn with pain we'll never see. Kate Winslet's life is more than glamour, it's a battle for survival, dignity, and self-acceptance. And while her story may be heartbreaking, it's also a lesson that behind every smile on the silver screen is a human being, fighting a war we may never understand. So, when you think of Kate Winslet, don't just think of Titanic. Think of the woman who has endured storms no camera ever captured. And ask yourself, was the price of her brilliance worth the tragedies she has lived?